My name is Liberty, a project coordinator for the Export Support Program here at EuroCham. At EuroCham Cambodia, we have a program called the EuroCham Exporter Story Interviews, where we really seek to understand the stories behind each exporting company, how they get started, or the challenges they face along the way, and hopefully to inspire the companies who are currently exporting their products, or even those who are looking to export their products outside of Cambodia as well. As usual, this interview entails into 3 parts. The introduction part, the opportunities and challenges, and then the final part is the lessons learned part. Today, we're fortunate to have Andreas with us in the house. Andreas, please introduce yourself and your company.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Andreas AgriTrade. I'm the owner and director of Kamya AgriTrade, Kamya Eco-Farming, and now Cambodian spices and fruits, 3 agribusinesses here in Cambodia. That started, I'm involved in for a couple of years now. My background is agriculture, it's agribusinesses. I come from a practical agricultural background. I studied agriculture in Germany, spent a few months or years even during my study abroad. I came to Cambodia in 2002, the first time for work. At that time as a consultant with World Bank and the UN in the land and agricultural sector. I liked Southeast Asia. I mean, love to work here in this region for a long time, and I fell in love with Cambodia, and I decided basically to stay working here as a consultant throughout the years. And in 2013, basically, I supported, motivated by some friends in Germany who have at that time a small spice wholesale company in Berlin, who asked me whether I could help them source pepper from Cambodia. So that's how I got involved at first in some small-scale trade activities with the Comfort Pepper Promotion Association, buying from them, repackaging and sending to Germany. And, through my work as a consultant, I had a lot of contacts with people also from and officials from the Ministry of Agriculture also, and through that also, I was asked also, could you help also maybe with your advice and your knowledge some other companies, small-scale companies here to find markets, improve their businesses. So the next thing was a company here actually that was dealing locally and doing a little bit of exports of moringa oleifera, powder, tea, tablets, and I found that company also very inspiring, and the product very nice. And at that time also had the chance to start with a local partner here, a farming business in Cambodian province and in Tumbong. So that's where we started the farming operations with Kamya. 2 years later, also I added the farm in Kampot to our, so to say, agribusiness portfolio. That's where we stand at the moment.
Yes. Why the name? Why Kamya?
Kamya? Oh, we were discussing a lot with friends here and friends in Germany, and it's a bit of a funny story because at first also our idea actually was because we were looking something also here in the Cambodian context, and I'd spent some time up in Ratanakiri quite often in Bandung and Mondokiri, and I've heard and looked at the last wild elephants here now. So that's actually where we first started. We thought okay, let's do something else, with a logo and a name around elephants. But that was only until I talked to a marketing guy and he said, do you know how many thousands of companies have a logo and a name with elephants, in particular here in the region. But then we were discussing, he said, okay, what else? And somebody came up, from our friends, I don't even know. What about Kamya? It's actually a Hindi name, an Indian name, that signifies something in the direction of like a wish or a dream that came true. So I thought the concept is something nice. It's a small, short term, easy to remember, also important for marketing. And a friend of mine designed the logo for it. So it's Kamya now.
So how did you start? In terms of exporting, you started with pepper, right? How did you jump from pepper to another product and another product? What was the inspiration?
The inspiration was basically, the demand that I received from this company and friends in Germany. They were growing over the years with their portfolio, with what they've done. So we added also not conventional but normal certified organic pepper. Maybe that's something that I needed to add. All the companies, all the farming operations we do, and most of the trading we do is with certified organic products. So Kamya Farm was the first one, basically the first big farm here in Cambodia that had an organic certification in Kampot. We were the first ones to produce certified organic Kampot pepper. And the company in Germany that we dealt with, they also specialized, focused over the years in certified organic products. So we started also exporting some moringa to them. Very difficult to produce, so that didn't work out very nice. We had some ideas, or they brought in some ideas on what more to do with the pepper. So we started to introduce this salted or fermented pepper, as it's sometimes called. That is also something that actually Kamya started here in Cambodia. Copied 2 years later by all the companies that do pepper here. It's a very nice product.
Currently how many countries are you exporting to?
We still, we have a small range of customers still, although we are looking out for more intensively at the moment. So it's customers in Germany and in Thailand. We have one company that regularly buys from us a processor in Chiang Mai. And we have started to ship small amounts also to the US, but it's a difficult market we are still struggling with. We are hoping to expand over there as well as in Europe. It's still a German market that we're focusing in. It's not really the German market, it's German importers that we work with, but we are trying to expand this now. We've been, like most countries, we had some sort of a setback during the pandemic when things really stalled at many fronts in many ways. We had difficulties with shipments, difficulties with orders, difficulties from our side also to fulfill orders. But it's picking up now pretty quickly again.
Well, I think that's the end of the first part of our interview. Next, we will focus on the opportunities and challenges. Okay, so don't worry, just let this camera run. Usually we have a person here sitting and pausing the interview, but it's okay. So my next question will be your most challenging thing that you had to overcome, beginning to export. What were the difficult things that you find and stuff? So you could share, from experience, companies would share things like, it was difficult to find a potential buyer, or, with logistics and stuff, things like that.
Well, from our side, I mean, like mentioned before, I mean, how the whole thing started was we were quite lucky, I mean, in the sense that all started with a demand I received personally from a company in Germany. The challenge then, nevertheless, was in the beginning, I mean, when we didn't produce ourselves, I mean, finding a reliable supplier also. My first contact or the first business relations we had was with the Cambodian Pepper Promotion Association. 10 years ago, I mean, they were not as professional, I would say, as they are now. So there were a lot of challenges in the beginning. I mean, how can we buy from them? What are the legal procedures? Also, how can we ensure? I mean, that the quality was right? And we had some issues during the first few shipments. I mean, where our buyers in Germany were not happy with the difference between the samples we sent and the final shipments, and it wasn't easy. I mean, in the beginning, I mean, also finding the right logistics partner, because it's still small amounts. It's not that we ship container loads every month. It's over the whole year. I mean, at that time it was a few hundred kilos. Now it's a couple of tons of Cambodian pepper. So finding somebody else, I mean, a logistics company else, I mean, that would deal with us during that time, I mean, was not so easy. I have to say, I mean, I'm still working after 10 years with the same people for our logistics. So that is already a lesson learned. I mean, once you develop a good relationship with a company, I mean, you nurture this and you keep working with them.
Yeah.
It was starting then doing this, I mean, from these small informal things we did from 2017 onwards as a registered company with all the additional paperwork this implies, also when you ship larger numbers. It wasn't very easy in the beginning for me, in particular as a foreigner. You don't understand, I mean, all the rules, laws, regulations, and it's not something, I mean, that most people are very keen on reading themselves through. So I was lucky, I mean, to find a good manager at that time, I mean, who helped me doing all the right registration, getting the right licenses, together with our logistics partner at that time. And by now, I mean, this all works very well across the, not broad range, but across the few different products that we have by now.
Do you find the differences between, shipping in, like you mentioned, hundreds of kilos to, a couple of tons? Like, what's the difference, or which one is more difficult than the other?
The problem as such, I mean, is the costs. I mean, it's like with everywhere else. I mean, the economies of scale come into play. I mean, when you do larger amounts. I mean, when we started in 2012, or even after the official registration in 2017, 2018, I mean, shipping rates were a fraction of what they are now. Right? It was much easier, I mean, for us, I mean, to tell our buyers, I mean, look, this is what we can offer FOB, this is the transport costs of CIF, that's what you will have to pay us, I mean, when the pallets, the boxes are unloaded in Hamburg. By now, this is a much bigger headache. But I think also, I mean, it's not so, the headache is at both ends. Also, whether we ship entire containers, which we tried also with rice or some organic rice, for example, or with less than container loads, as we did for our spices. The prices are almost, I would say, prohibitively high. I think we are lucky also, I mean, that with products like Cambodian pepper, which are very high value, or these certified organic agricultural products in general, the price, the value of our goods are already quite high. So, but I know, for conventional exporters nowadays, these huge logistics costs are a real headache.
Did you ever find things like, administrative thing, paperwork? Was it annoying for you, or was it difficult to get around?
Yeah, it was difficult to get around. It is annoying, but one has to admit, a certain level of regulation makes a lot of sense. So it's not easy. It was not easy in the beginning. In Cambodia to really see. Okay, who is now involved, responsible for what? Where do we get our licenses for our exports? Where do we get our licenses, our documents for imports? Because we also imported some small machineries and stuff for our processing. So really a bit of a headache, and we sometimes had to argue with these unclear regulations. What is tax-free because it's from the agricultural sector, what is not, where do we have to pay, where we don't have to pay, and finding the right partners then in government who could advise you. It was quite difficult, but I think by now, the situation has really improved. There is still some ambiguities around us, but with the connections we have by now and through our logistics partner who helps a lot on this, we are doing fairly well in terms of being a fully legal and compliant business by now.
Okay, wow, that's great to hear. Anyway, so that's the end of the opportunities and challenges part of our interview. Next, we will move to the lessons learned part, which is the most important part for this interview. So, one thing, what is the value that you see in terms of, exporting your products to international markets?
Yeah, for us, as a company, that still grows, and we are growing in terms of the volume we turn over. We are also growing in terms of the processing depth. That we are involved in. The value for us in looking now more and more also for our other products like cashews, where we are involved now also for the export markets is growing our business, being able to involve more suppliers here, which are mainly smallholder farmers, which are where the corporation is very close to our business heart, our philosophy of our company. So finding export markets as an outlet also for these products that we produce ourselves, that we purchase from partner farms, is very important. It's a challenge and it's important to find the right partners for this, because the certified organic market is a very particular and specific one. The products we deal with, the spices, the cashews, the processed cashews, it's not something also where we as a small exporter or even others here in Cambodia could compete on the spot markets over prices. We very much depend on developing long-term relationships with our partners abroad. And that's also, I would see as the main or one of the very important lessons also for others. Be careful and be very thorough in your discussions with potential partners abroad. I mean, that you get a common understanding on how you will jointly develop your business. Make sure that they understand that things on the first shipment or shipments, I mean, might not work as smoothly as everybody expects, and they should put it down on paper. But developing trust with your partners pays out. Developing business also that follows the rules and regulations is important and pays out in the long term.
Thank you. So if you have to share in terms of experience, because you've been exporting for some time now, if you have to share some lessons to those companies who are looking to export their products as well, what are the most important things that they should, know about?
Well, I think what has worked well for us, is that we build up our business, our exports step by step. We always had big ambitions for our company, but we were aware that you cannot do from zero to hundreds of tons of exports within one or two years. There might be some exemptions of companies who manage this, but in general that's not possible. So start slow, look for a partner who accepts this. We've been lucky to find these partners who say, okay, let's do some trials, small amounts, and these are the partners that my colleagues across the SMEs here in the agribusiness in particular will face as well, and that's something it's important and it's worth investing time and efforts in your discussions with potential buyers, understanding their business, understanding what you could do together, whether you share the same values in your business, whether you have the same aspirations for developing your business.
Thank you. I think that is the end of our interview for today. So I think we've learned a lot of things from Andreas in terms of his experience in exporting and also setting up his company in particular. So one of the most important things that I've heard is to start slow, to build your business slowly in terms of exporting. Do not rush into things and stuff, which is very similar to our experience in other exporting companies that they share as well, and also to just start doing it, just find the buyer, find the right buyer, and just do it, study the market. So I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for making the time to be with us today, and I wish you and your company all the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. I'm always happy to share our experiences, and I hope other companies, colleagues even manage to do better than we do.